president at Shirley for youth baseball, and I am lucky enough to be the president of the MAC League this year. Hopefully one day you guys get the chance to do it. It's good times. Keith Turgeon's from Townsend Ashby. He's the one that knows everything. I'm just presenting. So at the end of the day,
all you, Bill. This is all you.
Great. Thank you. Don't forget to record. Keith, are you recording it just so we have it?
Yep.
Okay.
Recording's going.
All right. Here's my plan. I'm gonna go through the PowerPoint, touch on a bunch of things, see what questions we have. Then we're gonna dive into the rules. And then at the end, obviously questions anytime. I might bump some of them to the end because some of them will be covered later on. And at the very end, I didn't get everyone's email from the presidents or the MAC League coordinator. So before you leave, just make sure you see your email on the MAC League website. And I'll talk about that when we're going through how to navigate through some of the stuff. So let's jump right in. Oh my goodness. My mouse is touchy. Here we go. So my cell and email are on there, and I'll share that again later on. Please don't hesitate to call or email with any questions. Like I said, we're going to look at the MAC League website, schedule, rules, and all that good stuff. Just again, the goal is to have some fun playing baseball. So one of the things when we get to the MAC League website, and sometimes you go to like a college website with the MAC League, but you just type MAC League baseball and it usually pops up. So you guys are going to have to, one of your coaches, or preferably the head coach, but someone's going to have to be in charge of entering in some data, wins, losses, runs scored, and pitch tracker. So that's going to be stuff that's going to be pretty important. And we'll look at that. Like I said, the results and rescheduling games. We think it's not a big deal until we get a bunch of rain days. And then we have, you have to finish 3 games in the last 2 days before the playoffs. So I'll talk about that a little bit more. And I'm going to try to be hands-on helping you guys reschedule, because sometimes it's easy to put it 4 weeks out, but we really want within the next week. Both teams have an open date. There's a field available. Go play the game. And we'll talk about that. We'll get into with the rules, some of the lightning policy, website access, as I said, and schedules and standings. So it seems overwhelming when you first look at it, but it's not that bad once you do it a couple times. We'll go to this page a little bit later. In the MAC League handouts are the current 2021 rules for minors. Instructions to the website access instructions might be a little different than what we're doing. The lightning policy, and we'll talk about all that in a little bit. Come on, stay right there. So your email will be your username, and then you just enter that under administrator, and I'll show you where that is in a little bit. And you're going to have to just hit reset password. It'll email you, and then you'll reset your password, and that'll be your password. So anyone that coached 2 years ago, it was a different process. So last year we changed the process, or I think the website changed it for us. So that's not something we have to do, or that we're going to do the same as we did before. Oh, I apologize. So this information is a little bit different, but I know in the past some teams put, players' numbers just at a minimum numbers. Keith, do we say that it's first name and number, or does it matter if it's just their jersey number? How's that been in the past?
We usually have some form of name in there. So you got to have the jersey number listed, and whether it's first initial, last name, or whatever people choose to put in, it is public. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So and just number, and I like the idea of either just first name or first initial and last name, or even first name and last initial. But because with the pitch tracker, some coaches are going to want to see, they already pitched Johnny his allotment of innings, and now he's got to rest so many days, and then he won't be there. And I've entered, again, information I have. I think I got everyone whose info that I have, your names in there, and those will pop up. So it'll make it easier when it's raining at 3 o'clock and you're at work and you got to get in touch with someone, you don't have to remember, hey, what's that coach's name? You'll be able to go to the website, click on the team and the roster, and the coach's name will appear. So you can, and their cell phone will be there, email will be there. So we'll be able to communicate pretty easy. And if we
Hey,
get
Bill.
stuck, yes.
Hey, Bill, this is James from Littleton.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for doing this. We having some trouble with challenges with logging in to the MAC website. I think Norm maybe reached out
Yeah.
for usernames and passwords, but it seems like it's changed for us.
Yeah. So what we'll do at the very end, we'll go and make sure everyone can get in, because
Okay.
I haven't done it with where I had to hit the reset, but we'll definitely talk about that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Like, I don't want people to leave until they can get in as an administrator. So
Okay,
I'll
appreciate
hang
it.
around with those people at the end.
Thanks.
For bringing that up. And again, I've been trying to put your names in, and it wasn't until like I had some last night, some this morning, and some of them that I was doing at like 2:30 today, putting you in as an administrator. So if you tried it before then, you might have been on that list that did it before, but we'll make sure before you leave.
So if anybody's having trouble logging in, put your email address in the chat while Bill's going through the presentation and talking about everything. I'll work behind the scenes and try to get everybody's login fixed.
Yep. So email, team number, are you?
Yeah, and your email address and your team.
Yeah. And your name. So he'll see that, but
Yeah.
it'll be good. Thank you, Keith. So, and I'll go through this, but obviously we need to know what the score was. The winning team will put the score in for the game results, runs. You don't have to do it by inning. It'd be nice if you did, but as long as we have a final score, innings played. So one of the things, if the game is 10-run rule, and I don't even remember. Yeah. So if we get to where the game's going to be conceded, but you keep playing, the pitching stats still count. So it's a great opportunity to pitch someone that hasn't pitched a lot and just let them burn up some innings. But those still have to be written down in case that happens again. And then RF and RA, are runs for and runs against, are not counted once it's conceded. So whatever that final was, fifth inning, hey, it got up to 15-5. That's the final. You kept playing because there was time. But those runs after, when the game's over for the score, but the innings are still counted. And we'll talk about, yes.
Sorry, James O'Leary from Harvard. I think in the rules, and I might get a little ahead of ourselves, but did I see that is there a game changer tracking app that does this, or is that for next year?
Well, so actually that's a huge component, and I didn't write it down, but I'm glad you brought it up now, because what the game changer is, so we're doing innings pitched this year. We're gonna be in pitch counts next year. So the goal is, and I know people are so used to, if you've done it for a book forever, people want to do it with a book, but there's an app on your phone. It's amazing. It keeps track of pitches. It has all that. It at least to my knowledge, it's not compatible. Like, you can't upload all the info to this website, but it has everything on your phone in the tip of your fingers. So, but that is something. So for anyone, and I'll bring that up at the very end. I'm glad you said that. So Game Changer is an app that you score, and it keeps track of pitches. One of the things that can happen is you can have a pitcher throw 3 innings, give up 5 runs an inning, and throw close to 100 pitches. If every count's a 3-2 count, which happens, pass balls, and we're like, oh, he only pitched 3 innings, great. But then he's 12 and he doesn't play baseball anymore because his arm is killing him every day. So we really want to try to align with where our high school in Massachusetts is going to pitch count. So that's something we want to do. And I'll show that. I'll show an example of the Game Changer.
So just a little more context. So just for reference, some towns have requirements that you have to use Game Changer this year. So Townsend, Pepperell, Shirley, those towns I know are going to be requiring, and I believe there's a few others. So check with your leagues to see if there's going to be a requirement. Game Changers is going to be required next year across the MAC. So we do recommend you start using it this year. And then for those that it require, just keep that in mind already.
But at this moment though, Keith and Bill, that it doesn't link in directly to this website. You still have to go back and enter the info. Thanks.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And it's as quick as you, if you see here, you put in the final score 4-0. I think this little drop down says completed. The summary I'll talk about, like if you called up a rookie player, you'd have to put that in the summary because they would not be on your roster. Hey, my rookie player pitched an inning, whatever, number 12, Johnny. And then when you enter your player right here, so this is Air -1, Matthew B was the first pitcher in the game, pitched 2 innings. Jonas C was the second pitcher in, pitched 1. And again, there's all sorts of stats like batting average, steals. All we're concerned about is the pitching stats. And then the last pitcher was the third one in. So once you get good at just navigating how to get in there, scores, enter the final score, and here it is, the score, offensive stats. And then you can kind of see in the right-hand corner here, pitching stats. It takes a minute and a half, 2 minutes to do. And if you good, I used to do it right on my phone. So before I left the parking lot, I try to get it done. Just save that time because once you get home, you got 20 things to do. So, and it's just important to do. And I'll try to nag you guys about it as the season goes. But if you guys can really just think, hey, we won the game, and you don't have to do it in the car in your parking lot. Get home, get everyone dinner, and get everyone to sleep, and then just take time to get it in there before the next morning at the latest. So that's the goal. But it doesn't link to my knowledge. That'd be great if it did. So as we said, recorded by each team 24 hours or prior to the next game. Keep track of any call-ups. And that would go right here in the summary. There's an example of that right here. And then what this shows is when you go to the pitch tracker, you can look at your opponent and you can see if the baseball's there, hey, this player is eligible to pitch that day. Whereas if they've pitched their max allotment, they'd have X's for the number of days. So they can pitch 3 innings per game, 6 per week, and then they need 2 days rest if they've pitched their 3 innings. So again, the website just takes care of it. You play it on Wednesday. They pitch 3 innings. They cannot pitch Thursday and Friday. It's not, well, he pitched at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday because it was a holiday. Can he pitch at 3 o'clock on Friday? Nope. Thursday, Friday, they're out. They can pitch again on Saturday. And again, if we have questions on that, please holler out to me and we can look at that as we go. But it's once you do it once or twice, it's not that bad. And Keith, I hope I'm not fibbing when I say that, right? I remember it being really easy.
It is really easy.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, rescheduling games, and we had a panic. I messed up. I blamed all the minors coaches for jumping in too early. So we really just have to make sure, because after tonight, I know like Groton has 5 minors teams, and they're going to tweak their times, which they can do. You have to be very careful. First of all, whenever you reschedule a game, that you're communicating with the other coach and you're double and triple checking that the field's not being used. Because the worst thing to do is you got a team showing up and there's another game there and 2 umps show up and, that's not good. So please, please, please double check. And I'll go through that on the MAC League website itself to what that looks like. It says 10 days from the original date. We want to try to get it as soon as possible. Like if it can play the next day, play it the next day. And just because once we get to the end of the year, as you can see down here, games not played end up being a loss for both teams.
Yeah. So
Go ahead with
I was
somebody.
just gonna say that I know in the PowerPoint it says this. We changed that in the rules last year, so it's actually much shorter than that. So that 10
Okay.
days is you have like 5 days to reschedule it before you have to reach out to the league and say, hey, I can't get it within the 5 days.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So 5 days. And it says games not played, loss for both teams. And I just wanted to say right now, and I used to tell my team this all the time after the first practice, congratulations, you've all made the playoffs. Great job. I'm so proud of you guys. So again, wins and losses. I used to love being like the 7 seed and try to play the 2 seed and play our best baseball and see what we can do. So we're not too worried about the in-season stuff, but we just want them playing baseball. So again, the worst thing is to miss a game or two, and you only have 12 because we waited too long to reschedule. So, but I promise you the weather's going to be great this spring.
So Bill, just for clarification, so it needs to be rescheduled and the game needs to occur within 5 days, or it needs to be scheduled within the 5 days? I mean, obviously
Ideally-
we want to do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, because what happens is like you'll see, at the end of the season, I already have like dates, and they're preliminary, but dates for Miners West and Miners East All-Star games. We have playoff stuff, and then like the following week is the regional and state tournament. So like if you back up, if you put them off 2 weeks, and then in a week and a half there's another rain date, there's and with remember majors and major 70s and 60s are going to be playing. Field space going to become difficult that last couple days of the season. So you may say I want to play, but you might not have enough days or time. I remember not my team, but there was another Miners team that played 2 games on a Saturday because the playoff started on Monday and they wanted to get all their games in. So I think like Groton came in the morning, then Pepperell came in the afternoon, which is great, but I know those kids were exhausted because I think it was like 90 degrees and we had to practice in the batting cage because we were all done. So again, it's doable if need be, but ideally within those first 5 days, because it's going to back up quick at the end of the season, and that's what we're trying to avoid. And you guys will be responsible, and I can help anyone do this, but update the date and time and field information and just enter a reason. Hey, it was rained out, and the original date is just a great way to remember. It's supposed to be on April 29th. We moved it to May 3rd, and now it's going to only see on the schedule as May 3rd, but there's a way we can go and look and see what information was there. Okay. So hopefully we're able to get all that information in. Okay. And we'll look at rescheduling games in a little bit when we get to the website. So Monday after April vacation is when it officially starts. I think I gave a few days just because I know people are going to be traveling over April vacation and try to get everyone that final practice or 2 right before the season starts. We go till, I want to say that's a Friday, June 14th, I hope, or is that a Monday? Might be a Monday. But I think I have our all-star game on that, and I can tweak that, whatever we need to do. So the standings, who has the most points? If there's a tie, head-to-head, runs against. So you're more worried about playing great defense than you are scoring extra runs. So runs against the first tiebreaker, and then runs for. And then, again, games not played count as a loss for both teams. And we put in if anyone has to forfeit 6-0. And a lot of that just comes down to who's the 1 seed, who's the 2 seed, and I'm trying to use my, there you go. Okay, so here's some dates. So like I said, I had June 14th as the last day of the season, but when I was going and doing the majors and minors playoffs, like I had to put the all-star game on that Monday. And Keith, am I correct? I did it as there's a Miners East all-star game and a Miners West, 2 separate all-star games. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've completely determined if that's what we're going to do. In the past, we've done it that
Both
way.
ways.
We've also done it East versus West. We just haven't made the final decision on
Okay.
which that's going to be yet.
So I have them on the same day. So however we do that, and then 9 versus 8, because the East has 9 teams, the West has 11. So 1 game in the East, and the days are the same on the West. And then quarterfinals Wednesday. I have the higher seed hosting, but then when we get to the semifinal, at least right now, semifinals, and then the Miners East Championship will be at a designated spot, and then on that Saturday will be the Miners East champ versus the Miners West.
Bill, so
champ.
these are sorry. So this is an outdated slide too. So we don't do hosted games anymore for the championship. Where
Okay, oh, that's much easier.
the higher
Perfect.
seed host across the board all the way to the end of the tournament.
There we go. Because I was worried about where major 70s was. All right, that saves me a headache for
Yep.
figuring out higher seed host. Perfect. We like that. Okay, and I'll change that so the next year's person will have to write that. Let's go. So again, the same days, but if you look in the preliminary, there's 11 teams, so there'll be 3 games in the preliminary round before you get to the quarterfinals for the Miners West. Okay. And again, that's so that Saturday, June 12th, we'll want to have everything done by. And obviously you could play games on Sundays, but some teams might flat out say, no, they don't want to play on Sundays. Some teams will. Like I know the Shirley Miners team, I think they would play on a Sunday if they needed to. So that's just something you got to talk with the coach and give the parents enough heads up for. These dates are from 2019. I thought I saw the districts were, oops, sorry. I'm going the wrong way. We're by, same thing, by June 24th.
Yeah, I got the dates right here, Bill. So it's the districts start June 24th, states start July 11th, and regional start July 17th.
Okay.
Those are the
Perfect.
dates for this year.
Those are a quick turnaround between those championship games, and the following week is the districts. All right. I'll get those from you at some point, Keith. Oh, come on. 2 hours and 15 minutes from first pitch. I know that surely we just need to start some games at 6 o'clock when it's a weekday. And I know the first couple weeks you're not going to be able to play till 8:15. Parents are back working, and there's just no way they get from work, get their kid, get to the field. And I know our coach always says, hey, can we do it by, get there by 45 minutes before. So that's always a challenge.
Sorry, Bill, looks like we got some stuff on these old slides. So it's not a game time limit. It is the 2 hours and 15 minutes is the latest you can start a new inning from the first pitch. So you could start a new inning at the 2 hour and 14 minute mark. So the limit, we removed the limit a few years ago.
Okay, there you go. That's how I read it. I'm glad you said that, because I was assuming that it was to be able to finish that last inning. But now that I see it, that makes sense what it was. And just be very clear with the umpire and the other coach, like as you get between every half inning, especially if you're playing on a Tuesday night and it's getting dark, just say, because there's rules for number of runs you can score unlimited in the last inning. So again, you don't want to be frustrated that, oh, we could have scored another 8 runs, but we didn't know that was the last inning. So, but at the end of the day, you all made the tournament playoff. So we'll talk about that as well. And these are still right, 8 players to be able to start the game, correct?
Yes.
All right. And Keith, can you just check the chat? I'm seeing stuff pop up. I don't.
Yeah, I got an eye on it.
Okay. And that's, again, if it's 6 o'clock start, that's the minimum number you need. And that's really important to just talk to your parents about, hey, communicate if they're not going to be there on a certain time. And that way, if we know that ahead of time, that 2 teams and an umpire don't show up and not play the game. So if you know only 6 kids are going to show up, then either plan to have rookie kids there called up, or just reschedule the game if you know ahead of time. So that's hopefully when we
So
leave tonight, the schedule's
get
good.
the call ups, don't cancel the game. So there's
Yeah.
not enough time to reschedule games. So if you can't get your full player list, you're going to end up forfeiting, because the other team is going to hold you to those dates. So nobody can reschedule games because you don't have enough players.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. I
So
was thinking we could just change
it
it.
doesn't matter. You got to play the game, get the call up players that you need.
Which means you just need your parents to communicate with you whether they're going to be there or not.
Yeah.
And obviously you're playing with, I know some rosters are 11, some are 14, 15. It's great when you have 15 and they all show up and you're going to have a team, but then you got a lot of players. I know some teams like to stay at 10, 11 for a roster, but now you have 3 kids not show up. And now you're in trouble. So tell them to let you know as soon as possible. No protests, just whatever the umpire, whether they're patched or whatever it is. And that's going to be my big thing this year. Please don't argue stuff with umps. You know, I've coached minors, I've coached majors, I've coached Babe Ruth, I've been a varsity baseball coach. I get you get in the heat of the moment, just take it with a grain of salt, move on to the next pitch and explain to the kids, hey, what we thought would have happened. But we don't need to get into screaming matches and try to protest anything. Just move on.
Bill, you got a question from Jay Sacco?
Yep, absolutely. What do we got?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit a question. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
I actually
Fine,
meant to say clap. Like,
Oh.
that above all, I mean, we should be teaching, people to be, our kids to be, great individuals. And I couldn't agree more. Like the ump's call is the ump call.
Yep.
Yep.
And guess what? They're going to make mistakes. I don't know if anyone coached during the summer with the umps behind the mound and just trying to tell kids to, hey, shut up. I know the pitch was six baseballs outside. Swing the bat. You had 2 strikes. Just anything close and just get used to what the umps are doing. So I know it can be difficult and we want to chirp a little bit. Just wait till they get 15 or 17 and then you can chirp. Just not when they're 9 and 10. We want them to come back. And we want everyone happy. So when they go to the concession stand, they buy all sorts of stuff. So when they're angry, they usually don't stop and buy stuff.
Got a
keep
question
them
from
happy.
Eric.
What do we
just,
got?
just a quick question. Are you allowed to ask if there's a second umpire, if he saw it differently, or is
There
it
are
just the
no-
call's the call?
Yeah, the call's the call. There's
Okay.
no second umpires other than in the final championship game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, like you're going to talk to them between innings and you're going to say, and I've had umps, minors and Babe Ruth and varsity baseball. Hey, I missed that one. Yeah, you did. And again, I had a pretty big play in a playoff game. A guy missed a call and I was like, just took us out of a rally and I was pissed. I let him know in between the inning, but just it was he and I. But and again, I think like you would do, what's that call, and just keep talking about it. And the nice thing is, we'll get to the rules, but the run limit saves it from the floodgates opening. And again, you've made the playoffs. Now, when you get to the playoffs, does it get intense? Yes, it does. I used to always want to play great and lose so my summer could start. As I'm a high school football coach as well, I always wanted to get to do football stuff, but I wanted my kids to play well.
Sure. I just wanted to be clear on the protocol. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's only one ump, you don't question it. But I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
there was a second
Yeah.
up, if you could, say, hey, did he see it differently? And you guys talk. But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and the biggest thing is once you start questioning it, then the kids do, and then the
Yeah.
parents,
It
you know what I
becomes a
mean? And
mess. Yeah.
it's just, and these guys, they're making $60, but it's not that much money. I coach because I don't want to ump. Like, that's miserable. I don't know if any of you guys ump. That should be mandatory.
I
All
had
coaches-
to a couple times in a pinch because we didn't have umps, and I do not envy their job.
Yeah, no, it's awful. It's awful. Just make sure, I know this was from a couple years ago, just make sure everyone's had their background checks. That's not you guys, that's your presidents doing that. What is it? When a game's conceded, the game continues to natural end, but is that still true, Keith? 2 runs per inning? Rather than while they're still playing the game?
You're on mute, Keith.
Sorry. Yes, that's correct, Bill. There's
Yeah.
once a game is conceded, you don't stop playing. You keep playing all the way to the end, but there is a 2-run limit. The goal at this point is to basically take your normal pitchers out and put kids in that don't normally pitch. That's why there's the 2-run limit, so that they can just get some experience. Because the pitches that you do after the game is conceded count towards their innings. So if you keep your starter for the next day in, you're gonna burn an inning for him. So make sure you use other pitchers.
It's a
Hey,
great chance.
what's the normal run limit? I forgot for minors versus majors.
4 for minors. 4
Thank
for
you.
minors, 5 for major 60s.
Thanks.
Right. And again, they throw a bat and this is not on purpose, then it's a warning and then they get called out. So, and the umps are pretty good about, wow, that was close, just, and they'll talk to them. But I think that's just something to keep reminding the kids. We're still dealing with, 9 and 10-year-olds, and some of them are going to be brand new to the sport. So, but the umps are, I think also depending on, I'm going the wrong way here. Sorry, my mouse is broken. I'm using my fingers.
Give
now.
us all seizures, Bill.
I know My fingers are all messed up. Here we go. All right. New bat regulations from USA Bat. I think I have something on there. East and West divisions are the same. Teams with waivers. So I don't know if that's the.
We don't have that.
Eh,
here.
Yeah, and then the warm-ups, just, it's not a 20 pitch between each inning. Obviously, I remember where we'd get like 3 innings in for a minors game just because they took so long getting the catcher's gear on, get those guys ready. But just get them out on the field, have a plan with where they're going to play in the field, and then try to get those warm-up pitches, because you want to play 4-5s, ideally get 6 innings in. And it's the transition that slows the game down to a stall. So
Yeah.
that's on us as coaches.
Bill,
to get
What
them in.
about,
Go ahead.
what
Bill, can I
about,
just throw this out there?
Yeah.
Get the coaches out there, warming up the pitchers. I mean, they shouldn't be standing on the mound waiting. This is the biggest challenge, and we ran into it. We don't have the time to make up a game that's 10-1 and we run out of light. So if we can get these games in, it's really tough, especially in April and May. It still gets a little tricky with the lights and the start time. So the quicker we can get these things going, the better chance we're gonna have to complete these games.
Absolutely. And that's what it should be. One coach catching and one coach helping the catcher get dressed. I mean, because they do take a long time. And in and out, and have a plan for that transition. Because that it almost becomes an inning, if not an inning and a half of time that's wasted. And that's baseball you're not playing. So that's our goal. All right. The bat rules were, oh my goodness, from 2018. So no BB core bats. I think that was a big deal a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think the biggest one really is not necessarily BB core, it's the non-USA bats that are very, very illegal at this point.
Yeah. I haven't seen one, although someone tried to use one on my team in Babe Ruth. Luckily I caught him. I was going to kill him.
but those won't have the USA label on it, correct?
No,
No.
yeah.
As long as you're looking for the USA bat stamp on it, then the bat's fine. So we don't really look at anything beyond the stamp. So we don't have a special list of approved, non-approved
Right.
bats. So as long as it's
Yeah,
got the stamp, you're good.
Yeah, it makes it easy, right? So,
So pitching 6 innings per week. The week starts on Monday. So it's not like I'm going to do it from Thursday to Wednesday. The week starts on Monday. Some weeks you might have 1 game. There might be 1 team because we tweak some things. There's 3 games in a week, but Monday through Sunday is the week. That's where you can do the 6 innings. You see the minors is 3 innings per game. And this date, I just noticed I didn't update it. So if you have an 11-year-old that will be 11 by April 30th of this year, not 2018, but cannot pitch. And if you put them in the game, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think that's a real rule.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
no, I don't know where that came from. That's not in
Okay.
we don't have that in our rules.
All right. Pitch your 11-year-olds. Bring them down. Just kidding.
but
Oh,
they
11,
shouldn't.
11-year-old couldn't be, well, as long as anybody that's league age appropriate can pitch.
Pitch. Yeah.
So
Okay.
if they're beyond league age, they shouldn't be playing in minors anyway. We can't do
Yeah.
call downs. So there
Yeah.
shouldn't be anybody that's over that age in minors.
Gotcha. And again, it's not, they needed to get 3 outs to get an inning. It's 1 pitch equals an inning. So 1 pitch or 40 pitches during that second inning doesn't matter. That is a 1 inning pitch. So there may be times where a kid throws 12 pitches, they're all balls. And you're like, well, I thought he could get it through this second inning. You bring someone in, he throws, 6 pitches, gets 3 outs. They each pitched 1 inning during that second inning.
Yep.
So, as you record that, so even though you play a 6-inning game, you might have 8 innings total pitched on the pitch tracker. So those are the things you gotta pay attention to. And once you get to that 3 innings, then it's 2 days rest, because the minors can't pitch more than 3 innings a game.
And only 6 per week, right? Yeah. So
6 per week, and that's where.
And that goes away with the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Keith, is the rule 6 innings over 2 games? Or?
Yeah, it's 6 innings over 2 games. So that means you could pitch 6 innings one game, 0 the next game, 6 the next game.
Yeah.
right? Because I mean, the way it's set up this year, you guys have it set up as could be 5 games in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, we would run out of pitching. And that, if it
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah, that's why it's
Yeah.
the back-to-back games, 6 innings.
Okay.
That way you could do double headers if you needed to.
But you could still pitch two and not substitute or not have to wait. Would you go back to,
Right.
Well, there's no, so if you did 2 and 2, so
Yep.
basically you'd basically be giving up 2 innings. So
Yeah.
you'd go 2-2, the next game you could pitch 4.
okay,
So it
Yeah,
doesn't
inning
matter if
two-
there's a week in between, it's just consecutive games.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can
And I-
technically pitch every game that week if they're not pitching 6, that many.
Yeah, if you go keep them at 3 innings, they can
They can
pitch
pitch
every game.
Every game, 3 innings.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And
But
that's,
just keep in mind, that is not recommended.
yeah.
No, it's not. It's just, I want to make sure they could at least throw 1 inning a game or two, potentially
Yeah.
2.
So
Because
next year, when we go to pitch counts, that will completely change so that kids can't get abused. So just,
And I think you said something, Keith, that made me think about it. It'll come to me. And I was going to say, I think that's in the rules as well when we get there.
it is.
And I don't know how many people have rookies coming up to pitch, but that would still count as their, you just got to put that in the game summary, anybody that comes up. Because they would not be on your roster. And we'll look at that in a little bit. All right. So if you look leading and stealing, minors, any player that advances on a pitch that was a pass ball, whatever, that just counts as a steal. So it's not like we're not doing major league scoring where, oh, it was a pass ball. It's not considered a steal because you only get, 3 steals per inning per team. So if they advance on a pitched ball, that is considered a steal. No leading, so they got to wait till it crosses the plate. You get 3 steals total for each team per inning. Kid on first can steal second. Same kid can steal third. And then the next kid gets a hit and they go to first. They could steal second. There's your
And
3
that's it.
steals.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. And you cannot steal home. And one of the things here, obviously, we're trying to build up the capacity of what the players can do. So if they steal second and the ball goes way out to right field or goes way over the second baseman's head, they just stay at second. You can't keep
Okay.
going. So just tell your catchers to throw down, and hopefully the kids work on backing up. There's not going to be a penalty.
And how does that work in like practice? You just tell the kid to go back because he's gonna react, right? Like he's not gonna remember these rules. You know what I mean?
Well,
We just tell him to go back to second base,
yeah,
right?
just go back, and they can't get
Yeah.
tagged out. I mean, that's just something. Hey, no, play's dead. Go back. Ball's dead.
Yeah, usually you want to wait till the umpire says go back. So that way, if a coach says it, people can play games. So wait
Yeah.
for the umpire to say go back to second.
Well,
Right.
and that's where you want to have that conversation because some of the umps show up and like, hey, what are we doing here? Is this a
Yeah.
76? So they
No,
don't know.
exactly. That's kind of the risk, right?
So, but just if you just say, hey, they can't steal an extra base on an overthrow, and they would help
Okay.
you with that.
Okay.
And that's something to have that conversation with. And again, anytime there's any play at a base, they got to slide. We want to avoid all collisions as much as possible.
Umpires will call kids out if they don't
Yep.
slide.
And
Okay.
they should be.
Last
And again,
year,
this
we saw
kids
a
that
lot
don't know.
of kids get called out last year for not sliding at a play. So make sure the kids slide if there's a play.
And that's typically like second or third, right?
Well, and at home.
Yeah.
If the play's going on and they're running home, they got to slide if there's a play at the plate.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, so if the outfield throws to second and they're running to home, they can stand up. Yeah, it's only if the play is at that plate.
Yep.
They got to slide. And some of the newer kids just don't know to do that. They don't think
Yep.
of it. So what do we got? No slashing, and just if anyone doesn't know, that's just showing bunt, pulling the bat back, and swinging. So no slashing. Minors, you get 1 fair bunt per team per inning. There is no infield fly for minors. And then just remind that the minors outfielders cannot creep in and play the infield. That can be a problem at times. So,
Yeah, I bet.
and Keith, is the playtime 2 innings, one minimum, 2 innings minimum, one infield, one outfield, or is it? I left
We
this as it
don't have a
was.
rule specifically saying they have to be in the infield. It's strongly recommended. They have to play defense at least 2 innings, but obviously it's recommended that every kid have at least 1 inning in the infield. So just to be fair. So I know, like, for my coaches, I've told them that is a requirement for our league, that you have to have every player at least in the infield 1 inning. So.
This question came up, minors 4 runs per inning, and then unlimited for the 6th inning or whenever you determine that last inning is going to be. It might be the 5th inning, which just means we got to communicate. Forfeit scores 6-0, and that'll be put in there. So, and then if we get to the run rule, which we'll talk about, runs scored after it's conceded are not included in the score. So what do we got? Same thing. Must field. Now wait, Keith, that was eight players for minors. I know it says greater than 9.
Yeah, you can start the game with 8, but you got to get to 9 by 15 minutes. And,
Okay. All right.
I mean, honestly, this is really one of those ones where the coaches need to talk to each other. And, this is minors. If one team's got 15 players, share a player, just get the game in, let the kids play. Don't try to forfeit a game if you can avoid it. So try to get the games in. Obviously, if it's playoffs, that's different. But during the regular season, just work with the other coach, make a good decision. But officially, the rule is if you don't have 9 after 15, then the game is forfeited.
And then obviously if it is conceded, you'll play to the end with two run limits per inning after that game's conceded. And then, as we said, inning pitched are going to be kept after the game is conceded.
Question on the players.
Yeah.
What if you have 9 to start, but a kid gets hurt and you're left with 8? Is that a forfeit immediately, or can you finish the game with 8?
It's technically a forfeit. Again, playoffs, it's immediate. It's definitely a forfeit. During the regular season, do what you can. If the other team lets you share a left fielder, just work with the other team. Try not to be, try to get the games in. The kids don't want to walk away with a forfeit. So
Okay.
just do what you can. Work with the other coach. Be good guys, and just try to get the games in any way you can. So, but officially, if you have 9, you lose 1. On the books, you forfeit. Some teams will hold you to it. I don't tend to do that whenever I played, and so it depends on who you're playing against.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Not going to hold you to that, guys.
It'd be nice during the regular season, then try to rip their throat out right in the playoffs. That's how it
Yeah,
goes.
there you go.
And just a little checklist here. Have a rule book, roster any emergency contacts, first aid kit, game balls, umpire fees, all that stuff. I'm sure you guys are thinking of that. I know you said yes to coach, and then, I got to remember all this other stuff. We talked about this, the good sportsmanship, just make it fun. I love this summer because baseball was the only show in town, and I think it made a little comeback. So hopefully we can build off that momentum of the summer and getting kids out there. And Red Sox are playing good right now. So let's ride that wave of good baseball. Good judgment. I know you want to finish a game, but and I've been there where kids are pitching and the kid batting is like, I can't see the ball. And you want to finish the game, but sometimes it's just not worth it. And the nice thing in minors, the mismatched teams will kind of take care of itself with the run rule and just enjoy it. I mean, I got 3 boys. My youngest is 14. As much as while I was in it, I didn't always love the minors and rookies and stuff like that. But you get up to this point and it's like, oh, I wish we were doing minors again. It's fun watching those kids play. So enjoy it as a dad and just let them get the love of baseball. So are there questions before we dive into the rule part, the official rules, right, Keith? Were we going to go through and?
Yeah, we should at least go through it at a high level.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Usually that's where questions will come.
Yeah, okay. Let me share my screen again here. Was there anything in the chat or let me just?
Nope,
double
we're
check?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, the only, you guys are gonna go in the rules now? Yeah.
Yep.
Because I saw, okay, never mind, I'll wait.
And this is, are my rules showing right now?
Hey,
Yes.
hey, guys, one thing on the rules, I'm just looking, because I wasn't sure if it had changed. It's 8, you got to field 8, it says in the rules here on the max, so you got to field 8, not 9.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up too.
Okay, I'd
Yeah,
have,
so that hasn't changed, so it's 8.
Okay.
Okay, so as long as you have 8, you can finish the
8
game?
by 15 minutes after the game starts.
Okay.
okay, yeah, I think maybe we adjusted that last year.
I
We're,
don't,
we're looking at things from multiple years, so. So,
yeah.
Yeah, all
Bill,
good.
you got your Mac.
We want to play the
website,
game.
yep.
Oh, what, I got the wrong?
Yeah, we're looking at the website.
Oh, you're looking at the website. Oops, sorry. So as you look at the website here, you can see, hey, there's the minors rules. So that's in the rules and handouts. How do I stop share? Oh, I slid it over to my screen. Share screen. There we go. Teaching high school math. I'm actually getting pretty good at this Zoom stuff. Never
Good
done it
now.
until my computer freezes. Drives me nuts.
God bless you, Bill. Thank you.
Oh God, yeah. Thanks for my service. Yeah. So I think in the red are the new things. One of the things, and I'm still waiting. I think I only have like 4 or 5 towns. Obviously, the state has their COVID protocols, and like I know in Shirley, we did what Keith had put on for towns in Ashby. I think you're really straightforward. But some towns may have stricter policies for when there's a game going on, and we need from each baseball board, each town, their rules, and I'll put a document, make it a PDF, and put in the rules and handouts. So that way, if you're going to play, let's say we were very strict in Shirley, and you were coming there, we'd want all your players and parents to know that ahead of time. So I'll send something out to all the MAC League reps and the presidents, but just be aware that there may be a community that's different and more strict than what you are in your town, and you have to follow those policies in that town. So, but I'm still waiting. Like I said, I only have about 5 of the towns, so I can put that on there because I don't want anyone to get caught and there be a big argument before we can get to the first pitch. So,
So you want to stress to all of your parents that every single game, every single away game you have, to go look at the MAC site and look at the rules because they could update it anytime. So the state's changing their rules, the local board of health are changing their rules, and local boards are changing their rules. So the MAC site is always going to have the latest one. So always say before you leave, just go check to see if the rules are what you think they are. So.
good. And I think, so here we go. Yep, you had said it before, league age 10, and the cutoff is at May 1st. For the minimum 10 players, 15 player max roster, call ups. Keith, should I go through everything or just touch the stuff in red or?
The stuff in red, I mean, just go through the stuff in general.
Well, like here, free defensive substitutions. Again, you're really worried about where your kids are playing. You're not worried about giving the other team your subs. We're not like going through the ump or anything like that. And it's kind of your responsibility to make sure, hey, the kids played 2 innings, all that good stuff. What else do we got?
And Bill, maybe this was a rule change last year, but we don't want kids stuck in right field. They have to play 1 inning. It was adjusted. It's number 8 in blue. They have to play 1 inning.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, hopefully they play more than that, but like get all the kids at least 1 inning.
Just
I
keep in
think
mind,
that might be a new rule, but
yeah, so
No,
that
that's
rule,
good. That's a good,
it is good. Yeah, absolutely.
so that's a guideline. So that is not a rule. So it says the guideline for defensive play is that they be given at least 1 inning. So
Okay.
we put that in there so that coaches look at it and say, this is what I should be doing, but we didn't mandate it yet. So
Got
if it becomes a problem, then we'll look to mandate it. But right now it's just a guideline.
Yeah, and again, at the end of the day, I'm going to remind you, great job. You all made the playoffs, so just play the kids, let them play. That's the important stuff. Again, only have 12 games. There's 7 weeks with 12 games, so we really want to Really want to try to get them all in. And like we said, Game Changer Team Manager app. If anyone wants to hang out afterwards, we can look at it online and I'll show you some stuff. It's pretty cool. And now because of that, you're going to see coaches coaching third base or first base with their phone. They're not like texting for a pizza or checking out the Red Sox score. They're probably keeping track of the Game Changer app, and it can get hard. You gotta just prepare to, try it at a practice, do a scrimmage, and try to keep up with it. Because if you mess up and you got to go back, I mean, obviously in minors, you can just force stuff like, hey, force him to score. I don't know how he got there, but he scored, and then try to catch up. So, so don't judge any coaches that are on their phone. Hopefully they're doing the Game Changer app, but it's pretty cool. And there you go. You can't start the inning anytime after 2 hours and 15 minutes, but 2 hours and 14, you could get that going. Again, allow the visiting team to get some warm-ups in before the start of the game. What else do we have here? 2 new game balls, but have more. Clean your bench area.
Boys.
What was that?
Sorry, didn't realize I was off mute.
Yeah. Again, each inning, 4-run limit until it's the last inning, whether it's the 6 or you've determined it to be the last inning. 4 innings or 3.5 if the home team's ahead, if the lead's 10 runs or more. So then it's conceded, and then you can keep playing with just 2 runs per inning after that. So you keep moving, and like Keith said, you want to pitch your guys that are not your pitchers so you don't chew up innings. And it's a great chance for them to get to pitch. And again, those pitching stats will still count against their weekly innings. Post a score before the next game or 24 hours, whatever comes first. There's the link to that, and we'll look at the website in a second. And again, both teams have to go in and put the number of innings that their pitchers pitched, and that was up above. So again, doesn't matter wins or loss, everyone needs to have that in there. And that's getting us towards next year where we're going to be on pitch count.
Bill, you probably just want to mention that one there, that's the rule. So I guess while I'm here. So coming for next year, we are going to be switching from innings to pitch count. So this is the rule as we're planning on. It was going to be for this year, but we delayed it a year so everybody could see it and get the idea of it's coming. So see what the rules are. The stuff is all in here so that you know what you're going to be required for next year. So it's coming. Get ready for it now.
Yep, absolutely. And it's at the end of the day, it's good for the kids. Games not play. Again, we want to try to do it within 3 days of the original scheduled games. I know that's not always possible, but just start communicating right away. If you having problems communicating, get in touch with me and I can help push that along.
So if we have to reschedule a game for umpires and stuff, do we contact you or what do we do?
No, you guys can change it, and you guys are responsible for your own umpires or whoever your umpire coordinator is for your town. Good
Okay.
question. But if,
Thank
let's say
you.
you're having a tough time, like, hey, we can't get it in this week, can you help us try to find a spot? And I'll still have you guys do the umpires. I can help you look for umpires if, let's say, there's no one out there. But what we don't want to do is just the home team changes the date and doesn't communicate with the other coach. Because again, you don't want to show up with an umpire and your team show up, but then the other team didn't know that they were playing. And I think Keith said it, and it's very important. I think get the parents and as coaches every Sunday, go to the MAC League website and just look at your team. Oh, I have a game on Tuesday, like just get the parents in the habit of always checking it. So once you figure out how to use it, it's nice to, again, hey, tell the other coach I'm changing it. You don't have to let me know that you're changing games, as long as you know you've notified the other team, and just double check the field use. You don't want 4 teams showing up to the only field available in your town and 2 umps showing up. So that's not a good look, and just people will get upset. So just double check. And if you're not sure, like, hey, I don't know how to look at it, stay for a minute and I'll show you at the end on the website.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Bill. Could you just go over the 4-run per inning rule again? That seems like it could happen.
Oh, it happens every inning almost.
Right,
At
right.
least, yeah. So what did it, I mean, you gotta, one of my pitchers, we used to walk everyone around, and so I put in the next pitcher, he'd walk a couple guys, and then you get a bases clearing double, and it might be 5 runs, but you only count 4 of them, and just the kids finish the play, and then it's, hey, switch. You might have 0 outs and 4 runs. I mean, there are times my pitch count, like I'd have a pitcher in there that I know struggled, and I'm hoping between him and the guy that I'm going to put in 5 batters after, that they can just, maybe they can hold them to 3, but if they get to 4, then I can try to catch up the next day. It's going to happen. And
Will
that's
happen a lot.
yeah, you're just trying to minimize how many 4-run innings you give up. That's really the game at the minors level. So it will happen a lot. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not coaching them well enough. And you can't steal home. So it's going to be a lot of walks, and then bases loaded, single, 2-run score, and then it's 4. And then you just, hey, in and out. And the kids might be confused for that for the first game or 2, but then they get, hey, you can only, the max we can score is 4 runs. And even if that 5th run scores, or it was a bases loaded triple, it's only going to be 4 runs for that inning.
Okay.
Even though you score 5 or 6. So
Okay,
4 runs
thanks.
for that. And it will happen.
Yeah, it seems like that could happen a
lot, yeah,
lot. So,
yeah.
okay, thanks.
Yep. Great question.
Bill, we want to call out the rain out section here. So
Yeah.
there's a couple things in here, and I'll just hit this one up real quick. So there's a few things that we adjusted for this year, and I know they didn't put them in red, but they were adjusted. So specifically, no game should be called more than 2 hours in advance. And if you should be playing games in light to moderate rain. So we don't have the time to cancel games. So unless a field is unsafe or there's downpours, you should be playing in the rain. So keep that in mind. This is, this is baseball. It's okay to the kids to get dirty and muddy and have fun and go out there and play. Keep them safe, but unless there's really a safety issue, we should be playing under any circumstances we can get. We just don't have the fields, the time to do rescheduled games for every, bad weather. And what you see at 10 o'clock in the morning, it could say that it's going to be, downpouring at 5 o'clock, and you want to cancel it early. Oh, it's going to definitely be raining. Wait to the 2-hour mark, because chances are it's probably going to be different. We live in New England. The weather changes minute to minute here. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Greg?
that's a good point, because in the past, right, the playoffs have been challenged with all the rescheduling at the, it's like a hockey stick.
Exactly.
Like all the games get rescheduled at the end of the season,
Yep.
So it makes it a challenge.
Yep. Craig, you had a question?
Yeah.
Who's going to make that call, Keith? Do we make it between the 2 coaches
So
for the other team, or
the home team head coach is the one who makes the final decision, but he should do it. He should be talking to the head coach from the other team throughout the day. Say,
so home team head coach gets the final say whether yay or nay we're playing or we're not.
Yep. And then he gets the final say, and then the umpire gets the even more final say.
All right.
So if you get
cool.
to the field and you think, yeah, we can play, and the umpire is like, no, this is unsafe,
then it's his call.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And just get to know your field. Like our minors and majors field actually does pretty well in the rain. So if it rains at 3 o'clock, like it'll be fine. Even if it pours at 4 o'clock. My Babe Ruth field, they're like 25 feet apart. The Babe Ruth field just gets sloppy and all the first base, third base, and it's not playable. It's so weird. I don't know if we have enough clay in it, but so just pay attention to your field. And like I'm always talking as the president, I'm always talking to all my coaches. So maybe run it by your president too, like, hey, what should I do? Or check in with other coaches as well. So
yeah, and then we specifically we added the lightning rule in here this year. So just that right there. So this has always kind of been like the unwritten rule, but we added it to the rules this year. So if you see lightning, the game needs to be stopped immediately, and you have to wait 15 minutes from the last visible showing of lightning. So you see some lightning, that doesn't mean call the game and go home. That means go sit in your cars and wait and see if you're going to wait it out. Look at your phones, look at the radar, see if you can wait it out. And as soon as you've gone 15 minutes from the last lightning strike, you can get back on the field.
Thank you, Keith. Pitching mound, 46 feet. I know some, like in Shirley, we have a huge 1,000-pound mound that we drag back and forth. So just make sure that's wherever you're playing, that's all set. What do we got? Not more than 3 innings in one game. And then we talked about, Keith had mentioned, this is where the numbers would be for next year for the Pitch Smart guidelines. So, and we would ask you, especially if you use the Game Changer app, if they pitch 3 innings, see how many pitches they threw. Like, how does that relate to, because this says 75, and I know I've had my son pitch 3 innings and he might have been in the 85, 90 range as a 10-year-old. That's not good. So just it's going to be interesting to see how that transition goes. I'm excited for the pitch count. And again, that Game Changer team manager is pretty good. Pitching substitutions, like I said, we're not too worried about, you don't have to you can do mass substitutions. Keith, what is it here? If it's, once you take a pitcher out, can you put them back in? I know it
No.
says it right here,
Yeah.
right?
Once a
they're
pitcher's
out,
out,
they're out.
they're out. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So again, you get 8 pitches the first time you're a pitcher, and then every inning after that, it's only 5 pitches, just for warm-ups. Everyone wear a mask, coaches.
Hit that number set. This number 7 is new for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, yes, thank you. This was a big
Beanball rule.
discussion. So in the minors, if you hit a batter, you hit 4 people at any time within the game, not necessarily an inning, hit someone in the first inning, hit someone in the second inning, and then 2 people in the third inning, you're done. Okay, so, or it could be 2 in the first, 2 in the second. So you've hit 4 total people. You got to be removed as the pitcher for the remainder of that game. So
Is there a max in a specific inning?
I don't
4.
think we did 4.
Same.
4
Okay.
Yeah, it's
over the
4
total.
across the board. Doesn't matter. However it is, wherever, as soon as they get to 4, they're done.
I mean, I think it has to go back to like how hard they're throwing. Like if they're like really throwing the ball hard and hitting kids, you probably should take them out.
Yeah.
Even if it's after 2.
And
You don't want those kids to be scared of getting.
Yeah,
like,
I would agree.
getting
That's what I
hit,
was
you know what
asking.
mean?
I thought 4 seemed like a lot. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, coaches need to make that be realistic with what they're doing. It's kind of hard to, we don't have speed guns out there. We can't really say, well, if this kid looks better than this, what he gets tighter rules. And, I've had some players that can pitch, but just have bad days. And so it can be all over the map. So
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if 2 kids get hit in a row and the third kid is up, he sees what's happening. He's gonna want to hit.
Yeah,
But I think on the flip,
he should probably look at his own. Yeah, I probably need to pull him out on my own versus the force. So
yeah. Whereas you have the kid that might be just floating it like a butterfly over there,
Right.
it's hitting them, and the kids are laughing. Like that's 3 kids get free walks over 3 innings. Then the fourth
Exactly.
one, hey, it's time to change. So yeah.
9's a good one to mention here, Bill. Too.
Yeah. So, hey, anytime you go to the mound, official visit, and then if you go a second visit in the same inning, the pitcher has to be taken out. So again,
Is that for checking for injury too?
If you have to go to the mound,
it's a visit.
The goal is for it to keep the game moving. So if you have to go to the mound for any reason, then that's a visit. Umpire that he'll have to be removed.
Yep. And again, I think the umps, I mean, a lot of the coaching you can do, if you're on the sideline, you can just say, hey, step off, breathe a little bit, whatever you got to do to get them to the next one. But when you have to go and talk to them. So, yeah, that was good. We said the USA bat, 60-foot base paths. No slashing we talked about.
Back up there just a little bit, Bill. 3 and 4 probably need to be reinforced.
Yeah. So if we talked earlier about if a kid threw a bat by mistake and they're new to the baseball, like they're going to get a warning. But if they intentionally throw the bat, hey, ball's considered dead, stops, return all the base runners back, and then the player's going to be thrown out. So obviously that's different than swing and you let go of the bat and it goes behind you to the fence or whatever by mistake. But if it's thrown on purpose, they're going to be thrown out. And same thing, throwing a helmet, stop everything, runners go back to where they were and the player will be ejected. So, I mean, that's just, again, if a kid makes a mistake or they get frustrated, which is one of the reasons why we want the coaches to temper it down. We don't want the kid, they want to win. For them, it is the World Series sometimes. Game 3 of their minor league season might be like the World Series. So again, have those conversations. You may know who those players are who have the short fuse. I think we've all had them or will have them. So, I mean, that's part of the coaching, is getting them to realize, hey, to be successful, you're going to fail 6 or 7 times out of every 10 at bats. And that's hard for kids to do. So I think that's very important. And then here it is, without malice, you're going to get a warning. And again, that's umpire judgment, but you can tell, and there's been times when kids are throwing a bat on purpose. Just, hey, you're done. And as a coach, you can even make that decision before the ump makes the decision. Get over here, get in the dugout, or go with your parents. You're done. So it's not the umps are going to make that decision too, but you can help them in that decision.
Right. Well, remember the without malice one, the players aren't done. They just don't bat anymore.
Yeah.
So they get called out, they get removed from the
And that's a
lineup.
second, the without malice that's a second time. You get a warning, and then if it happens a
Right.
second time,
Yeah.
you just can't bat anymore. So,
It's when they're doing it intentionally, that's a different story. And then there's no warning, they're done immediately.
again, no slashing. So fake the bunt, pull the bat back, swing away. So again, doesn't matter so we're just not fake bunting and swinging. I mean, obviously you can fake bunt, you can show the bunt, you tell them to pull it back if it's a bad pitch, but you can't swing after you've done that.
Question about the
no.
throwing the bat. If it's intentional, it wasn't clear. Do you get it out each time you go through the lineup for that player if they're ejected, or is it just like the without malice one? So it's not clear to me in the way it's written here.
No, regardless, if they're ejected and their spot just disappears from the lineup.
Okay.
If it's without malice, their spot gets ejected they just get removed from the lineup. We're not going to penalize the rest of the team for, an 8 or 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Doing something stupid.
If we had 9 players and one player gets ejected, so we're down to 8, would that cause a forfeit?
Officially, yes. Yep.
I thought we just talked about earlier 8 was the real limit, not 9.
You can finish a game with 8 unless Cal Ripken League rules are different than Little League. You can finish a game with 8.
The correction was 8. So if you have 8 and you drop to 7, it would kick in the forfeit. If you're 8, you're fine.
What do we have here? No head first sliding as you're going forward. Obviously, if you're diving back, you can go head first. 1 fair bunt per team. I think we mentioned that. You got to slide if there's a play at the plate or any base, second, third, home. What else is here? 3 steals per inning we talked about. You can steal more than 1 base. Catch or overthrow, you can't take the next base. No stealing home. And stealing on a pass ball constitutes a stolen base. So it's not an official stolen base. It's in minors baseball, it's a stolen base. You got to wait till it crosses home plate. And you can't steal home, but whether between first and second, some of the players like to go, once the pitcher gets on the mound, I think a runner has to declare either going forward or back. They can't dance around. So, I mean, they can go forward to the next base. They're probably going to get thrown out, but then once the pitcher gets there, they got to go back.
The rule is once they've stopped forward progress, they're done.
They either got to commit forward and commit to it.
Right.
Once
you can't go in between bases and dance around and try to get the pitcher to bait the pitcher. So once they stop, they're done.
And they got to go back.
Yeah.
No leading, no box can be called, no infield fly, no drop third strike rule. And again, outfielders are not allowed to play within the infield limits.
Yeah, so like the drop third strike. So like if a kid swings and misses, the catcher doesn't catch the ball, he's out.
Out, yep.
Yeah.
But if you didn't hit, obviously if you didn't hit it, still, if there's runners on base, they could advance if you still have steals available. So
Okay.
it's still a live ball,
Okay.
but they do not get to take first base.
Yes, they don't get attempt to run a first. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. What else here? 2 adult base coaches, make sure they're either rostered or Corey non-rostered. It's up to us
On the
presidents.
equipment and attire, just as a heads up, because I've seen this a lot lately, umpires are now being very picky about kids wearing sweatbands, jewelry, that type of stuff. So necklaces, stuff like that, especially if you're pitching, a lot of umpires are going to start calling and make the kids take the stuff off. So just be aware if you see the kids, coming out with more bling than they should.
Is there any requirement to have cleats at
I
this
don't think
age?
so, no.
I don't know if it's a requirement, but I would never let one
recommend.
of my players step on a field at this age without cleats on. So it is way too slippery. And the way the kids run and turn, if they don't have cleats on, they're going to tear up their ankle. So
Yeah, I agree.
And no metal cleats at this level.
Yeah.
So just remind them. Keith, did we go by it? I can't remember. Batting, right? You could bat your whole lineup. You could do is it if you have 12 players?
the only option is to do continuous batting lineup.
Okay, awesome.
For
right.
all back levels. So it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
So every player goes into the same consistent lineup at all levels, and it never gets swapped. Doesn't matter if you do subs or anything.
So everyone's batting. Good.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if we have that in there.
4 right
good.
there. It's red to call out.
Well,
end
were
of the
you
game-
saying when you said the continuous lineup, in the fall we had it where you set your lineup at the beginning of the season and you just continue where you left off, or can you make a lineup for each game?
So that's Westminster's rules.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So that's a specific rule that Westminster has for their fall league. We don't have that rule. We leave it up to the coaches to make how they want to rotate their rosters around. So as long as it's continuous, throughout the length of an entire game, how the coaches handle it, that's up to you guys.
All right, thanks.
But Bill, you want to call it that 4 there?
Yeah. So obviously we're not going to line up and shake hands. So at the end of every game, teams line up on the first and third base lines, tip their hats and say good game to the other team. So again, we're still in the COVID protocols and we want to just make sure we can keep playing baseball. So just be smart, but yet still get some sportsmanship in. They just said rule states no manager, coach, or player shall at any time, whether from the bench or the playing field, use language which will in any manner refer to or reflect upon opposing players, manager, coach, or umpire, or spectators. So just if you're getting taunting, talk to the ump. Don't get into a back and forth with another coach, a player. If you have a problem, again, obviously if it's playoffs, there'll be more people there. But if it's regular season, just don't respond and we'll take care of it afterwards. Talk to the umpire, but then let your president know and we'll get involved as a league. But just don't let it escalate. So that's our number one goal. Play baseball and make it about the kids, not about the adults. We ruin everything. So let the kids have fun.
It is important to note here on number 8, for minors level, unpatched junior umpires are going to be used. A lot of towns will be using them. If they use them, there has to be a pair of them. So just keep that in mind. They need to be treated just like every other umpire. They're going to make bad calls. They're going to be learning, and the coaches, you've got to be flexible with them. So keep that in mind.
Keith,
Oh, sorry, going back to that taunting question, God forbid that's happening, and it probably will at some point in time. You don't want us to even engage with the other coach, or you said go talk to the umpire, but if we have 2 unpatched junior umpires, like, are they the ones that need to deal with it, or is it working with the other coach to say, cut it out?
I think, yeah, and I think that's a great point. So, and if that does happen, either work it out as adults, and if it gets so bad, I mean, just take your team and leave the field. I mean, like, I don't want it where we have adults fighting on a baseball field and we're watching MAC League highlights of coaches on Channel 5 at the 6 o'clock news. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's absolutely what we do not want. So,
Good rule of thumb.
yeah, and again, we say we don't think it'll ever happen, but stuff's happened. So,
Last year it happened at the seniors level. There was 3 games where there was brawls, like flat out bench clearing brawls. So just,
yeah, we don't
that's at
want
an
that.
little bit older level, but
Yeah.
it's it can happen. I've seen kids come out of the stands and attack someone. So it's,
Yeah, I mean, it starts in the dugout, it escalates with the parents, and then it just comes on the field. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, you're right. That's a great point. And if you can ask the umpire to say, hey, even if it's a kid, and they can say it, or you can be polite. But if it's not going to be worked out and it's not manageable, make the decision to walk away. Like, I'll take that. And I mean, obviously, we'd get involved in a heartbeat on that. So use your best judgment. Again, we want to just play baseball, even if that means if you have to walk out and the other coach is there and you're not doing anything wrong, but you're the one getting the other coach all fired up, walk away yourself, be the better man, and go on so the kids can play. But hopefully we're telling you as a league, as the coaches, don't be that coach that ruins the game. So just don't do it. It's not worth it. You made the playoffs. And it doesn't matter if you win the playoffs, just do your best. Let the kids play. The minors, they're 9 and 10.
Can I go back to the umps? I just want to make sure I understand. So if it's junior unpatched umps, there have to be 2 of them at the game. Is that correct?
That's
Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
yeah, there'll always be 2, but there's a few basic rules. They can't come in their town colors. They should be wearing umpire gear, even as a junior. I've had games in the past where a town would have, junior umpire, and they'd come out wearing, their team's clothes, and they've got to be able to show that they're, not biased. So do what they can, because the kids will call that out. So
I get it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Do we know if the umpires are going to be setting up behind catchers this year?
Yeah, that's 100%, right, Keith?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, all the umpires will be behind the dish this year.
All right, great.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Also keep in mind though, that right now the rule is everybody has to wear masks all the time, which is why the umpires are allowed behind the dish. If the mask rule changes again and not everybody has to wear masks all the time, they might have to go back behind the mound.
So catchers are wearing masks also?
Everybody has to wear.
Okay.
The state rule is that everybody at all times has to wear a mask regardless. Spectators, if you're at the field, you have a mask on. Running, catching, pitching, everything.
Interesting.
They're counting a mask on top of a mask for catchers.
Yes.
That's safe. Yeah.
That's the state rule. They basically made that rule across the board for all sports. They're not putting any exceptions in right now at all, other than swimming. Swimming is the only exception they put the mask rule on.
So you guys know any masks that actually stay on when you're trying to put your catcher's gear on? Because I don't know of any.
I've had my kids wear gaiters. That seems to be the best thing that they wear for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some playoff stuff, single elimination standings will be based off the playoff seedings. Most points, again, 3 for a win, 2 for a tie, 1 for a loss, 0 for a forfeit. And again, so as you can see there, getting a loss in a game is better than getting a forfeit. Runs against, runs for. Higher seed the whole way through. Home team will get the umpires and provide the 2 game balls. No call-ups, so you got to play with your official roster.
Be real cautious on that one. We've had this problem a couple times recently where people did call-ups. If they are not on your official roster, they cannot play in the playoffs. So
that's going to be important. And now we just talked about, hey, you have a 10-run rule in the 4th inning and you keep playing in the regular season. Once the game's conceded in the playoffs, it's done. Go say good game and the game's done. You don't finish a playoff game. And they got to go, if it's not 10-run rule, you're going to play it until the natural end. So, it's if you can't complete it, then you're going to have to suspend it and finish it another time. obviously we want to get innings pitched, pitch counts right away at the end of the game. So we're saying in the regular season, 24 hours or before the next game, it would be nice if everyone could get those in either that night or first thing the next morning. And then the championship semifinal games, we're going to be 2 patch dumps, $60 per umpire. And are we right? Each team pays for that. We'll deal with that. Oh, there you
Yes.
go.
Throughout the playoff, every game, the 2 teams split the cost of the umpires. It doesn't matter who's hosting.
And then, so in the playoffs, you pitch up to 6 innings in any 2 consecutive games. So if you pitch 1 in the first one, you could pitch 5. If you pitch 3, you could pitch up to 3, but you might only pitch 1, then you could do 5 the next game. So any 2 games, no more than 6 innings. And once you start the playoffs, it doesn't matter what happened in the regular season. Everybody's has their max pitching ability. What do we got?
And that's just the 2022 pitching rules
Oh, there you go. So that's what it will be down the road.
next year.
Yes, shortly down the road.
Yeah.
I'm still in March 2020 right now. I'm not even at 2023. Let me bring over, so, and I want to get you guys out of here soon. So this is the MAC League website, rules and handouts. These are here. The old coach's presentation. I'll put this one up here later tonight. So if you want to go back and look at some of this stuff, results and standings, there should be nothing here right now. So everyone's 0-0, there's major 70s. So this updates right when you put a score in, it updates right away. I love this website. Schedules. So if I go in my Shirley one, obviously here's all games. Here's where you can look to see what date you could possibly fit in. Obviously you can do it by team. So if I'm looking for Shirley, hey, we got a game right here on this Saturday. It gets rained out. I can quickly see, oh, they don't have a game till the following Saturday. We can fit one in that week. This is the important button, this view by venue. And Keith's Field is going to be the hardest one to work around. If we look at Craven Field, it's almost every day.
Yeah.
So this is the one, when you're changing a game, you have to look at the home field. You can't just say, hey, we'll play you guys on Thursday. Again, if they already have a game there. So you look here, it's 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14. I mean, they're jam-packed. So I think Keith is probably the toughest one to fit all those games in, but there's a few other fields that
We do have a additional field in the event that we just can't find another field, but Craven is a much better field than our smaller one. So that's why we put all of our stuff there, but we do have another field if we do need to grab something else.
So
Hey, do you
what are
guys
the
have
other?
this? I know I had to do this in the fall. We ended up, the field was way overbooked compared to Pepperell. So we worked with the coach and he was willing to come to Pepperell, even though he was still the home team. And is that okay if we work out with the coaches if we need to? If we get desperate?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. And you don't have to, it doesn't even matter if it's, if it's a Townsend versus Pepperell game, it doesn't have to be in Townsend, doesn't have to be in Pepperell, it could be in Groton. If you need a field, reach out to your town coordinators and, they'll help you find a field or reach out to other towns and see if we can get you a field. So there's lots of ways we can find fields for you. But, if you guys are having a problem before you switch to a different town, you should check with your town coordinators just to make sure that because like I know for my coaches, while we are booked very heavily, I can move games around, especially the younger levels, and move things around and maybe make things work. So have them reach out to their town coordinators first.
Hey guys, so I logged in at the start of the meeting for the first time on the leaguelineup.com and created an account, got to reset the password. But when I'm in it, it looks very different from the regular Macintosh league website that you guys are showing.
Yeah.
Is that common? Is that
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show everyone what it looks like. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I just was going to show, schedule reminders, you can have your parents click on this to get their, I think it sends them text messages or emails. So if things change, also show your parents on this website to go to the directions. I think most fields have directions here. So, I mean, you look, Craven Field, look at that. Perfect. So, I mean, it's just, there should be no excuse. Like, we don't know where to go. 2021, get on your phone, go to the Macintosh League and look at the directions. Because you will want to have your rosters up there. And I think looking on divisions, I'm trying to add in names as we go. I'm going to try to name teams so we know who to communicate with. I don't know what level that, oh, that's Miners West. So, and that was just Rob right there. So if I click on Rob's team, there's his cell phone number right there. And I think if I click on your name, your email might pop up. Oh, I think it will send you an email.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have no idea if that's actually going to work though.
I'm going to try it right now, Rob.
Yeah.
But well, actually, I'll do it after.
Yeah.
So, but the question was, so when you use your email and before we leave, because we're done in like 2 minutes, I think here, I don't click on my league lineup, click on administration. And then you sign in. And so you're going to sign in, click on your email, forgot your password if you need to adjust it. My password's already there and I don't know what it is. But so it'll then email you and then you'll come in here. And as you said, like I have access to everything, but if I want to go to teams and I want to go to let's go to the team we were just looking at, Groton 3. I click on this team. So it has some information here. Like you guys won't be able to see, I think Keith, right? They'll only be able to see
They can
their division and can only change things for their team, correct?
Right. They should see everything, but if they try to edit anything from anything else, it should barf out.
Yeah. So that was me just clicking over here on the left for team name. And we're not going to add, please don't add any more teams or anything like that. But now if I click on schedule for Groton 3, like let's say we just had a rain day. Oh, I clicked on Groton 4. Sorry. Let me go back to Groton 3. So yes, this looks very different, but now I could change the month, day here. I could change the time. I know some towns when they play each other might want to go at 5:30 or 5:15 if that works. We could change what field it's at. And then just please make sure whenever you make changes, you hit save. And also please make sure you're dealing with, and as Keith just said, you're restricted to what you can only change stuff for your team. But
So
we'll
another
definitely
big
be able
thing
to do
that'd be
that.
important here, just because you make a change here, most towns have their own website with their own scheduling tools. You need to also update it on there because you're not putting in parents' contact information on this site. So if you make a change, you need to update your own league site. That way the parents get notified because they will not get notifications if you make changes here. And don't make any changes to this site unless you've talked to the other coach first.
Yes, absolutely. And once you hit save, it changes right away on the other view of the website. So it's pretty nice. Questions. Oh, wait, let me go to one more thing here because here's where, and we can kind of finish up here. So when I go into administrators, what I want you to do is if you look on the left side or actually in the middle, if you don't see your email anywhere here, I don't have it, and therefore you won't be able to log in yet. I mean, if you see it and you want to just look around, and Keith, you said some people were popping it into the.
Yeah, there was like 3 people that asked and they're already all set.
Okay, so you guys should be on here. So any questions on anything? Because I want to let people start going that if you don't have a question, and if you don't see your name on here, it's alphabetical by the first letter, I think. We'll just before you leave tonight, I want to get you on here. Anything we can think of?
Yeah, Bill, the only thing I was trying to get to where you were, and when I choose teams, it only shows me my team. So maybe it's
Well,
Just trying to remember how-
and we want, so you're the minor league coordinator for your group, right?
Yeah,
All right, I'll add you to see all your teams. Sorry.
okay.
We'll give you the big permissions. How do I do that? I'm still learning. I
No,
get
no worries.
someplace and I don't know how to get back there. That's
Yeah,
always my
We'll
problem.
take care of it after. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
That's fine. I just wanted to see how to get to this page because this could
So
be really
now-
helpful in just trying to contact the other coaches.
Yeah, so can we put him on the division?
Well, actually, you just got to switch. See where it says team permissions? You got to go all the way to the top.
Oh, okay,
So it's actually going to give him access to the whole division.
gotcha.
No, yeah, go back to that drop down.
Yeah.
Go to the very top, all teams.
There you go.
So that'll give him everything in Miners West.
There you go, Rob. Set yourself free. Are we doing any other questions?
This is John Day Cole. I don't see my email on there. Am I missing it? Or-
Okay. Yeah, just hang for a second or put it in the chat and then that way I can copy and add it in.
Okay.
Because you will be a new administrator. Where's the chat? I can't find it on my screen. Oh, here we go. Oh, here's a bunch. All right, I'm gonna.
I've got all of them except for John, who just came in.
Okay, gotcha.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for keeping Bill honest there, Keith. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No problem.
no
yeah.
problem.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys. See you this season.
See you.
Later, guys. And hey, if you just put your email in there, just put your team as well, so I know where you. I think I'll be able to figure it out. But
Will do.
yeah, thanks, guys. If you guys got to get out of here, if you don't have questions, you can take off. Thank you.
Thank you.
So wait, did you get this one here, Keith?
Which one?
Bolton?
No, I was just getting ready to do John Healy.
All right, good. I'll do these guys. All right. Bolton 3 black.
And actually, on that one, is it in as just Bolton 1, 2, 3, or did they add the black?
No,
gold,
so this
green?
is totally new. Yeah, that's different. Where's Bolton? Miners East. What did we say? You're Bolton 3. So now you won't need to do all that stuff. You'll just do your email. What did we say you were? Bolton East 3?
Question, because we had this question come up in a call we had in Bolton.
Yeah.
Can we add the color like you did to the others?
Yeah. I mean, if you tell me or now, so that's a great question. Like what color you want to be?
So Bolton 1 is green.
All right, let me do that right now. Hold on. Teams. Miners East. Bolton 1 is green.
Yep.
Who's the head coach of that team? Oh, wait, do I have it down there?
That's
Who's the head coach?
Vince LaRosa. In fact, he sent you his email to be added as well.
Yeah, so I'll do that. But this is how I'll do it. Like I'll just do it like that. And I'll put all that stuff in there. Save. What's Bolton 2?
Bolton 2 is gold. And the
Who's
coach
that
is McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, MC, GLAUGHLIN.
GLA. What was after A?
MC, GLAUGHLIN.
Oh, there he is, right there. I see him. I got you. So he's in there, and then Bolton 3. What color?
Black.
3 is black. Yep.
And it's Finn, FINN.
FINN. Perfect. And I'll go in and add you later on. Awesome. I'll have to steal some of these. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And what was I doing before? Adding in administrators. So yeah, if you guys can stay on, and I can, if you wait a second, I can. I
got most. I think I got them all.
Oh, you got them all. Okay. So you should just hit that reset, and then you're.
I miss. Oh, I think I missed. Did I get John? Oh, hold on.
Let's see.
Missed one.
how do I save the chat so I can go and take that and put their emails in on their
Copy paste.
team? Oh, okay, the easy way.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording now.
Oh, yep.